The 2019 Major League Baseball season is over. We saw the Washington Nationals take the World Series the other night against the Astros. Fantastic series. So now it's time to start the offseason content. And before we start talking about free agents, I want to start going into rankings, start talking about top players in the league. And that's what we're getting started with today. As you can tell from the title of the video, today we're going to be talking about 9 players in Major League Baseball that had comeback seasons in 2019. Who doesn't love a comeback story, right? I mean, like, comeback players, it's great. As always, if you guys do enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like. That's the best way to show your support on the channel. Subscribe if you're new and you enjoy the content. If you love baseball, click that sub button, join the team. Remember to get in the comment section down below. Let me know if there's any comeback players that I missed in today's video. It's also time to announce the winner of the Ronald Acuna and Aroldis Chapman signed baseball giveaway, sponsored by Auction of Champions. Of course, there are links in the description down below if you want to bid on any sports memorabilia. They're a great site to do it. But I have a random name picker here to pick who wins. I got everybody's name who's entered. There's about 170 of you. So obviously one winner for Acuna, one winner for Chapman. Auction of Champions will get in contact with you through email, so check your emails if you win. The first winner, of course, for the Acuna ball is going to be, congratulations to Alan Rotnemer. And for the Aroldis Chapman baseball, we have got Nathaniel Watson. So congrats to those two. Check your emails for details on how to claim your prize. Congratulations. So let's get going into the 9 comeback players. Let's get the most obvious comeback player out of the way first. Heading out to Atlanta to talk about Josh Donaldson. Everybody knows how good Josh Donaldson has been in the past. I mean, the guy won an MVP. He earned that nickname Bringer of Rain. But in 2018, we saw Josh Donaldson only play 52 games due to injury. And in those 52 games, he wasn't very good. Braves took a risk. They signed him to a 1-year deal worth $20 million this past offseason. And boy, did it pay off, because Josh Donaldson had a great comeback year in 2019. He played in 155 games this year, hit 37 homers, 33 doubles, 142 hits, 94 RBIs. He hit .259 with a .379 on base, .521 slugging, and a .900 OPS, along with playing plus defense at third base at the age of 33. Donaldson has had such a good season with the Braves that they've even considered bringing him back on maybe a multiple year deal, and he has earned himself a longer term contract, that is for sure, this upcoming offseason. Donaldson had a fantastic 2019. It's good to see him getting back to being a top player in the league. The next comeback player I want to talk about for the 2019 season, we're going to go to the National League Central, talk about Cincinnati Reds starting pitcher Sonny Gray. Sonny Gray was a great pitcher out in Oakland. He finished 3rd in the Cy Young voting in 2015. He was always talked about as a possible trade deadline deal, and in 2017 that trade finally happened, where the Oakland A's traded him to the New York Yankees. Wasn't bad in 2017, but 2018 was a nightmare for him. 4.9 ERA, a whip approaching 1.5. He got moved to the bullpen at one point. He lost his starting rotation spot. Sonny Gray looked like he might have been a lost cause in New York. But in January, the New York Yankees traded Sonny Gray to the Cincinnati Reds, and he returned to his old form, pitching really well for Cincinnati this season. Sonny Gray made 31 starts this year for the Reds with an 11-8 record, 2.87 ERA, and a whip at 1.084. He struck out 200 plus batters for the first time in his career. He finally looked like he was getting back to his old Cy Young form, and the Reds might have gotten a really nice steal in Sonny Gray out of the Yankees. He even made the All-Star team. For the 3rd comeback player in today's video, this guy is going to be a little bit of an elder statesman in Major League Baseball. That's Hunter Pence, who seems to have risen from the dead this past year, because it felt like everyone around the league, myself included, thought that Hunter Pence was done. He only played 97 games in 2018, had a horrible season, hitting only 4 homers, an OPS at .590. It just seemed like it was all coming apart for Hunter Pence. This was his career worst year, following up 2017, which was also the worst of his career at that time. But in 2019, the Rangers took a flyer on him, signed him to a super cheap deal in the offseason to be their DH, and in the 83 games he played, he had a fantastic season, even earning himself a spot on the All-Star team. Now, he only played 83 games limited to injury, but in those 83 games, you saw Hunter Pence going back to the player we remember him as. 18 homers, 17 doubles, 1 triple, and 59 RBIs, 297 batting average, 358 on base, 552 slugging, and a 910 OPS. Anytime you add an OPS in the 900s, you had a fantastic year. Comeback player of the year, possibly? I'm not sure, but definitely deserves to be in this video. At the number 4 spot, we actually have a young player on this comeback player list. I don't necessarily feel great about including him on here, but he was a highly touted prospect, and he is up for the comeback player of the year award, so that's Jorge Soler. Now, prior to the 2019 season, Jorge Soler had only played 100 games in Major League Baseball once. That was back in 2015. He's had some playing time issues, he's had some injury issues, but finally in 2019 he was healthy, played in all 162. He had quite the season. Soler hit 48 homers, which was an American League best, 33 doubles and 1 triple to drive in 117 runs. He struck out a league worst 178 times, but his slash line was still pretty good. 265 batting average, 354 on base, 569 slugging, and an OPS at 922. Those are extremely solid numbers. Now, he offers you little to no value in the outfield, but as a DH, he had a really good season. I guess you consider him a comeback? I don't know. Coming back from what? Being pretty good? He's on here. Let's do it. For the 5th player in today's video, we're going to head back out to Texas to talk about Lynn, who, as we know, at the start of his career was actually a pretty good pitcher. When he first came up with St. Louis, there was a lot of hype around him. He had ERAs hovering in the high 2s, low 3s. He had some really solid seasons. But 2018 was a different story. He split time between the Minnesota Twins and New York Yankees. Wasn't really good with either of them, but in 2019 he found his old form and was really starting to pitch at a much higher level again. In 33 starts this year, Lynn finished with a 16-11 record, 3.67 ERA, and a whip at 1.219. He struck out 246 batters, which was by far the most in his career thus far. His strikeouts per 9 were up, his walks per 9 were down, his hits per 9 were down, and his home runs per 9, considering how many home runs were hit this year, really not that much different. So Lynn might be one of these players that you didn't hear a lot about because the Rangers weren't great, but he had a really good season. All right, so for this 6th player, kind of falls in the Jorge Soler category of comeback from being a highly touted prospect. That's going to be Lucas Giolito. Giolito was traded to the White Sox back in 2017 with that Adam Eaton trade where they got Reynaldo Lopez and Giolito. It seemed like a crazy trade at the time, but the first 2 seasons he had with the White Sox, you thought maybe the Nationals got rid of him at the perfect time. Because in 2018, Giolito had a 6.13 ERA, which was the highest among qualified pitchers. He let up 118 earned runs in a season, walking 90 batters, a whip at 1.47. But 2019, really nice season for Lucas Giolito. He made 29 starts this past season to get a 14-9 record, 3.41 ERA, and a whip at 1.064. 3 complete games, 2 for shutouts. He only threw 3 more innings than he did in the previous year, but he struck out over 100 batters more. His walks were almost down by half. His earned runs were down by almost half. He came back, I guess you can say, because he was supposed to be very good, but Lucas Giolito is definitely a young pitcher to keep an eye out for in the next few years. He's got a lot of talent. Number 7, we got another starting pitcher. A lot of comeback years for pitchers. But at the number 7 spot, we got Yu Darvish of the Chicago Cubs, who didn't have an amazing year, but if you take the last half of the season and compare it to what he had been doing, that's a comeback in and of its own. Yu Darvish, for the first 3 years of his career, was dominant in Texas. A Cy Young candidate almost every single season, striking out a ton of batters. He was nasty. Injuries started to plague him towards the end of his stay in Texas. 2017, he spent time with the Rangers and then went to the Dodgers, but he had that World Series where the Astros read all his pitches and destroyed him. He then went to the Cubs in 2018, made only 8 starts, looked terrible, and in 2019, despite a rough start, he actually ended the season very strong. His stats for the 2019 season were 31 starts, 6-8 record with a 3.98 ERA and a whip at 1.097. Now, if you look at Yu Darvish's splits from the season, he made 18 starts in the first half, an ERA of 5.01, but the second half, where he made 13 starts, he had an ERA at 2.76, struck out more batters in 16 less innings, and his whip was over half a point lower at 0.808. So the second half, he turned it around. I'd consider that a comeback, and he falls on this list. At the number 8 spot, hey, what do you know, another pitcher. This time for my New York Mets, we are talking about Marcus Stroman, who had an abysmal 2018. It seems like every other year he kind of pitches poorly, so I'm hoping that's not the case in 2020. But in regards to 2018, he was just bad. Only appeared in 19 games because of injury, just didn't have good numbers. An ERA at 5.54, a 4-9 record, 1.476 whip, wasn't striking out anybody, giving up a lot of hits. He was struggling. But 2019, Marcus Stroman turned it around. The first 21 games with the Blue Jays, he was fantastic. A 6-11 record wasn't indicative of how well he pitched, 2.96 ERA, 1.227 whip. He then got traded to the Mets, started off a little bit rough, but he picked it up towards the end. 11 starts, 3.77 ERA, whip at 1.475 to give him pretty solid numbers in total for the year, and definitely makes him a comeback player. In 32 starts, he was 10-13 with a 3.22 ERA, a whip at 1.307, striking out 159 batters in 184 innings pitched. Strikeouts per 9 were up, walks per 9 were down, hits per 9 were down. Stroman returned to his high quality form. And for the last and final player of today's video, I gotta go to the New York Yankees and give some love to Brett Gardner. I can't believe he's making it on this list. He had the best season of his career at age 35. Also, coming off probably the worst season of his career in 2018, where he had an OPS of 690, wasn't even getting on base, a slugging percentage at 368. Well, he turned that around in 2019, where he hit a career best 28 homers, 26 doubles, 7 triples, 74 RBIs. He walked 52 times in 491 at-bats, 251 batting average, 325 on base, 503 slugging to give him an OPS at 829. And for a guy like Brett Gardner to have an OPS at 829 when he's a career 743 OPS guy, that's quite the improvement. And considering his numbers from 2018, he definitely needs to be a comeback player. So those are the 9 players that I felt had comeback seasons in 2019 in Major League Baseball. I would love to know what you guys think about it down in the comment section below. Is there anyone that I forgot to include on here, someone I left off? off. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to leave a like on the video if you did enjoy it. That's the best way to show your support on the channel, as well as subscribing if you're new and you enjoy the content. If you love baseball, click that sub button, join the team. Remember to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at GiraffeNeckMarc, links in the description. And of course, for those of you who won the Auction of Champions giveaway, check your email on how to claim the prize. That's gonna do it for today's video, guys. I do appreciate you stopping by. I'm actually currently in South Carolina when you're watching this right now, so you know, always repping the Gamecocks. Go Cox, baby. So you're gonna see me in this clothing probably for the rest of the weekend in videos. We're working hard. It's like what, 1 a.m. right now, 1:16. You can't see that, but we're working hard out here to get videos. You know the drill though. To end this video, we always do it. YouTube recommends you watch this video right here, as well as this is my most recent upload. So click through those if you have not yet seen them. Thank you so much for watching my video, guys. I do appreciate you, and I'll see you all tomorrow for another video. Bye.